Welcome to Profile. I'm your host today, Paula Hersey, and we're sitting here with Latham Centers. They've got a brand new program that they want to talk about. I think it's really, really cool, shared living, and I've got Katrina and Magda with me today. Welcome, ladies.
How are you?
How are you?
I am absolutely fabulous on this summer day. How about yourself?
Excellent. We're so happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. We always love to support whatever something new that you're doing, which you do quite often.
Oh.
Katrina, tell us a little bit about Latham Centers and what you're really world-renowned for.
Latham Centers, we're such an amazing nonprofit. I'm so happy to be a part of Latham. And we provide residential, vocational, and educational services to children and adults with complex special needs, specializing in Prader-Willi syndrome. So a little background about Prader-Willi syndrome.
Sure.
I know you might be a little informed, but we can't expect everybody is.
Right.
It's a genetic disorder with no cure. And so you don't know if you have it in your bloodline, but it's still there. And the most distinguishing characteristic is an insatiable appetite. It also comes to mild and moderate mental retardation. IQs tend to sit around 70. Okay. There's other anxieties that go along with it. And there's cognitive, mental, and social delays. Okay. So it's a really, really difficult syndrome to have, and there's no known cure, right, which means that as a kid there's growth hormones, certain things that you can take. Life expectancy right. was 16 years of age, Paula.
Oh my goodness.
And now it's much higher. It's more in like the 40s, 50s, and we have a resident at Latham who just turned 60. Yes.
Oh, wow, what a great story that is.
Yeah,
huh?
It's very special. She's not in our shared living program. Right. She is in our residential program. Right. And so we have a campus in Brewster for about 50 kids we serve annually. Those have PWS and other special needs. We have 13 residential homes from Brewster to Plymouth.
13,
so, yeah.
Wow.
We really span Cape Cod. And then we also have a shared community living program, which is a different model to residential care. And that's what we're really excited to tell you more about today, and to get the community on Cape excited about it too, right, because it's so special and unique, and it's part of what makes Latham what we are.
Right. And Magda, you're really involved in the shared living as well, but tell us a little bit about what you do at Latham.
Well, I manage our supported community living program, okay, which has two divisions. One part of it is independent living program, where we have folks living independently in the community in their little homes, and they receive support in form of case management, meaning right, somebody comes over there for a couple hours a week and helps them out with those areas of life where they need support, such as with management of their finances, budget okay, planning, diet, or management of their healthcare needs. Okay. The shared living program, that's the other part of our support community living program, and that is a program that is very similar to foster care. However, the care is applied to adults with special needs, or in our case with Prader-Willi syndrome. Okay,
so these are the adult folks at Latham, not the children that are in the shared living program. Okay, great.
Precisely. So we are actually assessing all of the folks who are within our program on a periodic basis, and their appropriateness to the levels of care that they are they're receiving at this time, whether it is individual supports or independent program, or whether they live in a group home, whether those might be folks that are aging out of the children's program or outside referrals. And we're trying to find out what would be the most appropriate model of care that would be effective for them.
Well, I love that you have
them to grow and blossom a little more.
Yeah, you have two arms of this. So some of them may be ready for independent living, which is great, in little small houses on their own with some care and management with that. But then this foster care kind of model, that's really new for Latham, right? This is something that you've started and now you want to grow and expand?
Yes, precisely. Actually, our first shared living placement was experimented with around 2007, 2008. We've had this young gentleman that was actually originally placed with Latham Centers in 1997, Danny. He was referred to us from Salem, Mass, and his support network was looking for a placement where he would be given a little more structure as far as education, a little more secure environment when it comes to food, because this gentleman has Prader-Willi syndrome, and he has truly blossomed in our Latham school. Well, when he turned 22, he ages out of the children's system, and he was placed in a residential home. And after a little while, he created a wonderful relationship with one of the staff who was looking to dive into a different career. So the idea that came around was, hey, let's try shared living. And 7 years later, he was still living in a home with Dick, his shared living provider, Dick's biological son, and their little dog. Later, Dick was looking to retire, and we very successfully transitioned Danny into a new home in South Yarmouth, and he is one independent young man, and he is actually an example whom a lot of the people at Latham Centers are referring to as a role model and somebody that they would like to compare to someday and become more independent.
That is wonderful. So the shared living, and again, when we talk about it, just to give viewers a little bit more context, these folks come into your home and live with you as part of your family. So that foster word really is applicable here. Give us a little indication of how this comes about. You evaluate the folks, and how do families get involved with this?
I can start this, and then Magda, I'll have her take over since she's the professional in this area. But we do an evaluation. We see what their biggest concerns are, what their biggest needs are. At Latham Centers, everything's very individualized. It's an individualized model of care. So Danny's different than all our other residents, and we recognize that and appreciate that. So we see what he's going to work well around, and is that going to be a single mom? Is that going to be a single father? Is that going to be a father and mother with a child? And so is it going to be somebody who's going to show him different types of cultural traditions and really expand his viewpoints on life? And that's what his second placement really ended up being about. And you can see some photos that will show in this, where it's showing Danny doing different traditions because of whom he's placed with, and really getting exposed to his new family, even though he had an amazing placement with Dick. And Magda, I'm sure there's other things you want to add to that.
Oh, absolutely. Danny, he's loving the fact that he gets to explore Nepalese culture right now and be involved in their festivities and holidays. And that's what makes the shared living model so special. We are truly looking into the preferences, into very personal characteristics of either the person that we are looking to place in shared living placement, as well as the potential shared living provider. When we are looking for shared living providers outside in the community, it's nothing like a regular job interview. We are asking very personal questions because we would like to create a match between those two parties that will be long-lasting, that will be effective, and that will just work as one cohesive system with the entire support network.
So there's some other examples that you have too. Maria, I guess, is doing really well in her shared living. How did that come about? You know, she's got a different, like you said, everyone is different with an individualized plan.
So Maria has been actually participating in several shared living placements. And the latest one, she's been matched with Jenny, and who's a single mom. She lives with her son, with her 8-year-old son Andrew, and Maria now. They very recently purchased a new home. They moved with Maria to this wonderful new place, decorated it all together. And on a regular basis, I make visits to all of our shared living sites to check in with the provider, check in with the person that is being supported, make sure that they don't need anything from us, and that they are continuously functioning as a well-balanced family system. So I came onto one of these visits. We are sitting down with Maria, Jenny in the living room, talking about things that have been happening recently, and then I noticed on a little desk on the side of the living room, beautiful picture that Andrew must have made, and the picture was basically a beautiful family drawing where Andrew was with his little stuffy that was a live dog in that picture. There was Maria. There was Maria, and there was Jenny, and we thought it was just an amazing reflection of how he perceives
like Andrew's got a big sister now.
His family system. As a matter of fact, when Andrew has friends come over on play dates to his home, and they ask, "Who is this lady over here?" Just, "Oh, that's just my big sister." So.
I love kids. I know they don't have any preconceptions of who and what people are. They accept everything as face value. This is somebody who lives in my home and is, you know, part of my family, so she's my sister.
And I think about how important that is to everybody in that family unit, because you have Andrew, who's being exposed to special needs culture, and in today's day and age, there's more and more kids with special needs that are being more diagnosed because we as a culture have more understanding. And then you have Jenny, the mom, and she is having a support in a way to help Andrew grow while still having the feel of a daughter whom she doesn't have that connection with. And then you have Maria, who has the support of Latham Center staff like Magda, as well as different other Latham Center supporters. And then she has the support of Jenny, and she has like a brother. And so all of a sudden these three people are coming together, creating this family unit. And sure, it's not nuclear, it's not your traditional family unit, but everybody is, as Magda said, blossoming, and they're just so happy and moving to new places together.
It's the modern family.
Yeah, exactly.
It is indeed.
It could be the fourth modern family in the show.
Well, and as I've mentioned, Maria has been through several shared living placements in the past. She has very large biological family with which unfortunately she's not in touch with. However, this is the first time in her life that she's truly experiencing the magic of real family, where everyone is respectful and accepting of each other.
Right, and has different roles in the household and things that they need to do, and you know, to make it a cohesive. I mean, you know, kudos to the single mom.
Exactly.
You know,
she's an angel.
I bet. So your staff must be thinking all the time as these children come to you to the school, and then as they start to get older, and you know what's going to happen to them, and like you said, they age out of any kind of social service at age 22. So your staff must have some type of, you know, thought in their heads of, geez, this program is great for some of these folks because they're so close to them in the school environment, and now they know that there's another avenue for them.
It's such an interesting point you bring up, because obviously in our residential homes there's a certain amount of space in each home, and Latham continues to acquire houses and purchase houses as is feasible for the agency, but we realize that there's a lot of people coming out of the children's program that might not need the 365 24/7 care that a residential home provides, because in those residential homes we have staffing all the time, we have continuous supports. It's more for a spectrum of need that's greater than the individuals we would place in the shared or community living environments. And so that's why the individualized plan is so essential at Latham, and we're really able to track them from a younger age into their adulthood. And it makes Latham unique because there's a few places in the states that do PWS care. They might do children's care, or they might do adult care. Latham Centers has the children's program, the adult program, and the transitional program, which links them. And that's
so it's
what
continuum.
Exactly, and the continuum makes us that world-renowned provider, and what so many other providers are striving for, and we're so proud of that at Latham. And you can tell after talking to the kids and talking to the adults and the staff that everyone loves the model we provide, and the students as well as the adults are grateful for the staff at Latham Centers. The staff is grateful for the students and the adults, and it extends even farther. There's a ripple effect because the families, if our residents are fortunate enough to have families, there's some people that are wards of state that have been bouncing from foster care to this and that until they find Latham Centers. But Danny's family, Danny is fortunate enough to have a biological parents, and his biological family is still in touch with him and so happy that he's able to learn these Nepalese traditions, and they're in touch with his foster family, so to speak. And so Danny all of a sudden doesn't just have a foster family and a Latham family, but he also has a biological family too, so he's so well-rounded and happy.
Yeah. Well, it's great because when you talk about families, you know, the shared living, Latham is really helping these families. But the support that Latham provides these families when they bring these folks into their home to share their home and to share their life with, there's a lot of training, I would imagine, that goes along with this. A lot of, you know, hand holding, a lot of, you know, what do I do if X happens or something like that?
Well, when it comes to the training to the that the people must have before becoming a shared living provider, it truly varies. It is helpful if a person has some education or some experience in either human services or social services, healthcare, but it's not necessary. What we require at the beginning is to pass CORI check, to have a reliable vehicle and a clean driving record, to attain and maintain CPR and first aid certification. And everything else we are arranging or providing ourselves. Whether it pertains to education around medication administration, around human rights, behavioral supports. We also are assisting very intensively in the transitional period of time to both the family, the individual, as well as the shared living providers. We're trying to be very careful and take slow steps in the transitional period of time. We also are connected with the shared living provider on a continuous basis via home visits that we make at first on a more intensive basis. Later on, at least once a month, we stay in touch with basically everybody. We have 24/7 on-call support and, of course, clinical and administrative assistance.
Right. And again, I would think that Prader-Willi syndrome is, again, with an insatiable appetite. So there's obviously supports for menu planning and things like that as well. So they don't have to worry about, you know, that kind of
we understand that you're
stress.
Coming into this. You may see this and say, this is something that interests me and I'd love to provide the support. I may be a retiree, I may be a younger individual, whatever your situation. If you're interested in the program, we highly suggest that just get in touch with us. We can tell you more about it and we can explain.
That's LathamCenters.org?
LathamCenters.org, exactly. And then there's a shared living component on the Latham Centers website. Magda's information will, I'm sure, be on the screen for you to give her a call. And it's just really a great program because if you have a piqued interest, we are able to provide you with the support that you need while you can still have those feelings of connectedness and helping people and truly making a difference, which is really important today.
It really, you know, you think about, you know, you go through your daily life and, you know, you want to make a difference and you're always, well, what can I do? I don't have any time. Well, time is irrelevant when you're in a family, isn't it? You know, you're in home, you're sharing your home with them, so that time that you're giving right then and there is really making one of the biggest differences in an adult's life, that they can have some independence in their living situation as well when they're doing the shared living program.
Oh, absolutely.
How cool. You guys got great jobs.
Oh, we love it.
Thank you so much, Katrina and Magda, for coming to Profile this morning and giving us some of your insight into this program. I hope some viewers out there are interested and will contact LathamCenters.org. I'm Paula Hersey, and this is Profile.